And hello, and welcome everyone to the Comic Multiverse, where the worlds of nerd meet. We're live again, Matt, on Sunday night at 10 o'clock over here on Twitch. We got a full house over here with some of our favorites there. We got Derek and Tevya and KT and all the warriors coming to check us out live. And it's a good thing they are, Matt, because to combat YouTube's new algorithmic fuckery, the video version of the show on YouTube is going every other week. So the only way to see our beautiful faces and, watch the show as God intended, I assume, is to either be a $5 patron or come out here to the live show. That is until YouTube fixes their shit.
Yeah, which hopefully should be soon.
We can only hope so. Again, we're going to try that out for a bit. We're going to see how that does for numbers. A fan last week said, hey, why don't you just cut up the news section and put that up, because that would probably be shorter and be a little taste of podcast content. We might end up doing that. The more I think about that, I think that's maybe not a terrible idea, but God knows when Matt and I get started, sometimes the news segment can be 30 minutes.
It can be, yeah. Half the show, at least.
Yeah, this is the fucking problem with YouTube, too, where it's like, hey, we're punishing longer content now. Well, how much longer? We're not going to tell you. Figure it out, dick.
Yeah, we'll decide when you've made it long.
Yeah,
we'll say it needs to be longer.
Yeah, in classic,
shorter.
Classic YouTube faction. Well, how do you decide? Well, do it, and then we'll decide, asshole.
Yeah, do it, and then we'll plant the goalposts.
It got us this far, and it's doing great. Tevya, I love this new segment. Oh, yeah, this new segment complaining about YouTube. What a great segment at the top of every show. But you know what? I'm going to count my blessings, though, because this week, Matt, this week was all right for me. If you follow me on Twitter, I got my first vax finally.
Really good to hear.
How you doing with that? You vaxxed up yet?
No, not yet. I think I'm still like a couple of months away.
Yeah. Well,
my mum and dad just got their first one.
That's good.
Last week, I think.
I think the Australian model, correct me if I'm wrong, is on the same model that Canada was on, and that is we're doing it in phases, and all the young, healthy people, us, you get moved right to the very end. Maybe you'll get it in the summer. So in Canada it was supposed to be August, but I guess they got like 4 million new ones or something, so they moved it up a couple months, and now everyone 18 and older is allowed to get it. So I had to travel a town over, and I had to make multiple appointments, but I eventually did get my first one. I got the Pfizer, and I was not sick. I was really expecting to have side effects, because when my mom got it, she got the AstraZeneca, but she was really sick there for a bit.
Yeah, my mum and dad weren't at all sick as well, and they got the Pfizer as well. So yeah, I guess it's like the Pfizer's the one that you don't get really that sick on.
I guess. Well, but again, everyone says it differently, because some people are like, oh no, it's the second Pfizer that actually makes you sick there, because your body's got to build the antibodies. Another person I was talking to who's like, what is it, in the know, they say you actually want to get a little sick, because that means your body is like building antibodies to fight the thing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to get a little bit of the corona. Just a sniff.
Just a little taste. Just a little taste under the gum. So, it's... as Glad Max in the chat says, Matt got a PS5 instead of a vaccine. Yeah. Yeah, it seems at a point where those are the two things that people want more than anything.
I could get vaccine or PS5, and I chose the PS5.
And he never looked back. I also took a lot of precautions, too, where I just, drank a bunch of Gatorade and slept.
Yeah, that probably did help.
Yeah, I didn't know if we'd be able to do the show, but 24 hours later, and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling all right, so I guess it's showtime then. What did you do with your week, Matt? Anything fun?
Not really. Oh, yesterday I actually did something really fun. I did some baking.
Ooh, nice.
I made some red velvet cupcakes and some cinnamon scroll roll thingies, like the Cinnabon sort of things.
Oh, those are good.
They turned out really, really well. I was kind of worried, when we were making them. I was like, I don't know. It's kind of sticking to the what we were rolling it out on, and then it just works, and they were really fucking good.
I've been trying to get as much baking in as I can. If people who follow me on my Instagram know, I made brownies and I made pound cake, mainly because it's fucking summer heat here now. It's goddamn stifling, so I had to get all my oven chores in before it got too hot. In fact, we're at that kind of shitty point right now where it's like, okay, you could probably open the window, or you could run the air conditioner, because you can probably get it about the same at night. So, pick what you're going to do. So windows are open. Victoria Day is tomorrow. So if you hear fireworks, that's what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah. My condo is the worst for an air conditioner because it's got like the big windows, so I gotta like friggin' jerry rig a tube out the side and everything, and it just genuinely sucks, and I've done it every summer. Luckily, I got a better, more powerful air conditioner this year. This one's 12,000 BTUs, but I just feel like it gets one room of my condo really good, and then the rest is just hot and shitty. I'm legitimately thinking I need to either buy an air bed or like a cot or something and just set it up in the air conditioner room. So that's what my week's been like. Man, had a ton of new shows there. I watched the first episode of MODOK, but never got to go back and watch the rest.
I haven't watched it yet. I've been keep meaning to, but I've been a little bit busy with some other stuff.
Disney Plus, I guess they're doing this fun, devious thing. I don't know if they do it on the Australian version, but they do it here when it's, shows that I guess they're involved with but don't own straight up. They did it with Solar Opposites, and they did it with MODOK, where it's like, look, we'll put the first episode on here, and you can watch it, and then if you like it, pay for the app.
Yeah, I think we got the first episode when it came out on Friday, and I don't know whether we got the rest.
I think they just give you one episode as a taste, and then it's like, hey, if you want to buy Hulu, go buy Hulu. Which is like, freaking come on, guys. Put it all together. Come on.
Yeah, we only get the first episode.
Yeah, I know with Hulu there was some weird fuckery where it like came together under another regime that doesn't exist anymore, even though it's a Marvel property.
Yeah.
It's a whole weird thing on that. Speaking of weird streaming things, you hear, what is it, like Warner Brothers acquired Discovery?
Yeah, AT&T is merging Warner Brothers and Discovery together, and it means that AT&T won't own that company anymore.
Thank you, Curio Chris. I just saw that. I will fully admit, I don't know much about Discovery and what shows they have and what that actually means, but just, yeah, another big company absorbed another company.
I guess that was the History Channel. I was going to say it just means it's just going to be a lot more movies about Hitler.
Of course. Man,
and shit like that.
Man, Hitler was a busy guy. He was building super weapons, occult stuff. To go by the History Channel, Hitler was doing a new, different thing every day.
Yeah. Oh, getting involved in occult rituals, managing drug problems. But as you said, building super weapons.
I mean, Hitler for the world, just terrible. Hitler for the History Channel, a boon and a gift that doesn't stop giving. When half their content is like that in Pawn Stars. I guess that's what it really means, is that I can watch like Pawn Stars and shows like that on HBO Max at some point.
I guess so.
Which I'm sure for some people will actually be enough for people to want to get HBO Max now.
Yeah, or does this mean that HBO Max ceases to exist and becomes something else?
Becomes Discovery Max or something, I don't know.
Yeah, HBO Discovery or something.
It's fucking nuts, too, because some people are like, oh yeah, on the same week they announced this, they also announced, oh yeah, Cartoon Network is going to be making sequel finale movies to Venture Brothers and Aqua Team Hunger Force and Metalocalypse, and it's like, oh, will that be affected by this? That seems weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. It feels like that company's a little rudderless, doesn't it?
It does.
But, I hope this doesn't mean I have to buy another app. I actually shelled out $6 this week to get the College Humor app Dropout. Because they do like one or two shows I really like and want to keep up with, and I'm like, all right, you got me. I'm not going to pirate these. I like your content enough, and you all seem like cool people, and honestly, you're like YouTubers like me, so I would feel like an extra dickbag if I pirated.
Yeah.
Because you guys are like one or two steps away from me and what I do, so we gotta respect each other a little bit, I guess. It's Dimension 20, everyone. The other stuff is nice gravy, but anything with Brendan Lee Mulligan on it, I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
So yeah, do we want to hop into the news this week?
Sure.
All right, so we got actually a nice little smattering, and again, if you want to see the video version of this, you gotta get it. Gotta get somehow. You either gotta be here live, or you gotta be there somewhere else. Also, thank you, M Vicious Cosplay, as always.
Thank you
for the good that you're always up on. Yeah, how about that Carnage trailer? What about it? It was pretty carnagey.
Yeah, I think we talked about that anyway last year. It's like the best trailer.
Yeah,
2002.
Of 2002. Yeah, it's nice that they pivoted to comedy. But yeah, we do have some news in front of us this week, and some of these stories are actually pretty substantial. Like, it was announced this week, 2 new animated series based on DC properties are going to be coming to HBO Max. The first is Batman Caped Crusader, and the second one is My Friend Superman, or My Adventures with Superman. It has a much longer title.
Yeah.
But yeah, two new animated shows, Matt. It's been a bit, hasn't it?
It's been a while, yeah.
And honestly, I'm genuinely super stoked, and it was nice to see people online stoked, because I think, for all the problems that the movies have and how divisive some of the TV shows have, I think we can all agree DC animation, fucking slaps, doesn't it?
It does.
In general, some of the best
it slaps
ones.
as well when they don't do that terrible animation they use for they used they don't do it anymore, but used previously for Young Justice and all of those
big necks,
animated films.
Big necks, big old necks.
Yeah, big necks.
Yeah, it looks like we're far past big necks right now, because it actually looks like they're rolling the dice on some rather interesting artistic statements and artistic methods that they're doing here. Caped Crusader looks straight up Golden Age Batman. It looks to be leaning even harder into the neo 1950s stuff that Batman the Animated Series was. And oh look, Bruce Timm is a producer.
Yeah, Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves is a producer, J.J. Abrams is a producer.
Yeah, that's a good list of people, but at the same time, isn't that a little worrisome? Aren't there a lot of cooks in the kitchen on that one?
Again, there's different levels of producer. He could people can be producer in credit only.
True.
Or it's J.J. Abrams, his Bad Robot company is going to be producing it or something. That's about the extent of it.
True, yeah, not everyone has to have a ton of input on it. Reeves obviously probably gets a little input on this because they're, I'm going to assume, try and do with this what they did with Burton's Batman in the day, and that is it's a jumping off point, but it's the same, but it's different, and we want synergy.
They're going hard on Matt Reeves being sort of the new
guy
of this new Batman stuff.
They really are.
Because they got his Batman movie. Mm-hmm. They got this. They got that Gotham show.
Yeah, maybe another Batman show. Yeah, they must really love what the dude's laying down, because they're basically saying that the Batman movie is going to be the jumping off point for so many other things.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I hope it's good.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, it looks good, and he's super talented in other things.
Mm-hmm.
But, so a new Batman show that actually looks a lot like the old Batman show. They definitely seem to be playing it safe with this one, where it's hey, do you like Batman the Animated Series? Well, obviously I have eyes. So that's pretty sweet. I wonder, what do you want, Matt, from a modern Batman animated show that we haven't seen before? Because we had Beware the Batman, which was the last, solo Batman thing before this. And what really chapped my ass about Beware the Batman is that even though they had a whole thing of we're doing, lesser known villains, we're not going to do any of the classic villains, but they kind of fucked up by having these new villains just fill old villain roles. Anarchy was just their Joker. What is it? Professor Pig was just their Poison Ivy, but with animals swapped out for plants. What do you want to see with this, Matt?
I actually wouldn't mind it if it was there wasn't any actual super criminals. It was just Batman fighting organized crime.
That would be a hell of a choice.
The mafia and stuff like that.
Fleischer Batman is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a hell of a choice, actually. I don't mind that at all. They could definitely do something with that. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of new stuff that's happened in the last couple years for Batman that they could try and, adapt in one way or another. Court of Owls, I'm sure, is something pretty high on people's list that they'd like to see.
Yeah.
Maybe even do a Batman Who Laughs episode.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like most of the new Batman stuff is just Snyder adjacent.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
It pretty much is at this point, that they could definitely do something like that. Mr. Bloom. Yeah, I don't think anyone's asking for Mr. Bloom at this point. Heck, I don't even think Snyder is asking for Mr. Bloom when he freaking created him. I keep waiting for him to work Mr. Bloom back into something, but it's nah, it's okay. We could see some new sidekicks, though. We could see Harper Row, we could see Duke, we could see some characters who we haven't seen before.
Yeah, Ghostmaker,
yeah, if they want to go really, really current, and we'll be talking more about Ghostmaker later, don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, a Batman show, the Batman show looks to be playing it safe. The Superman show, they actually look to be making some pretty creative swings on this one. First and foremost, the art style, which is the chat was quick to say, caused many a dude bro to lose their goddamn minds when they saw, hey, this looks like that She-Ra cartoon. Yeah, that very popular She-Ra cartoon that a lot of people really fucking enjoyed. I think the lady who worked on that worked on developing this. I don't think she's still on the project, but she definitely developed it. And it's called, what is it? Again, I wish I could get the title right. My Friend Superman, or like My Adventures with Superman?
My Adventures with Superman. I think it's also going to be based around more Clark Kent's work as a journalist than it is about Superman.
Which is a very interesting premise. They seek to imply that this is like 20-year-old Clark showing up in Metropolis for the first time, meeting Lois, meeting Jimmy, and the idea being that he's kind of like working to develop the Clark Kent persona for Metropolis. And I'm like, oh, that's actually really clever. Have a Superman show that's more about Clark than Superman.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a very solid premise, because again, it's like, yeah, he needs to basically create a whole new person. Which I definitely think there's some cool stuff they could do on that one. As the chat said, too, we're doing the African-American Jimmy Olsen that we've seen in Supergirl and some other stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I'm sure racists will, again, blow their top.
Oh, they already have. Yeah, they already have.
Jimmy needs to be white. Jimmy is a proud member of the Aryan race. No, he isn't, but okay. Bunch of freaking white supremacists, wearing Jimmy Olsen shirts because they all love him, apparently. But yeah, they look interesting. I like that they're not playing it as safe on this Superman one. They're really trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for this. I'm down for both of these.
Yeah, they sound really good. Now, do you think they're going to be actual 20-minute episodes, or are they going to be that new hot thing they were doing there for a minute where it was like 10-minute chunks
where everything is short? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's going straight to an app, which makes me think that they have more leeway and they don't have to worry about commercials or selling toys or anything like that. Again, we're thinking of Justice League Action, which Justice League Action was actually pretty solid. Like, it might not have been visually that interesting, but the writing was there and the voice acting was there. Here's a big question, too. Because these shows look so diametrically different, do you think we're going to see any crossover between them?
Probably not.
I doubt it, too, which is a shame.
I would like that because they are so different. They've done the work and made both characters completely the opposites of each other. Yeah.
It would be interesting to see them come together. Also, good one in the chat there. Glad Max, the proud friends of Jimmy Olsen. That's going to be the brand new hate group. The proud friends of Jimmy Olsen. Fuck me. You are Jimmy, only Jimmy's nice and cool and actually goes on adventures and is a nice person. And again, when he says that he's Superman's pal, like, he actually means that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is cool. I'm always down for more animation news. Again, I feel like animated television is something that, DC and Warner Brothers have kind of been neglecting, because we got that last season of Young Justice, which was okay.
Yeah, I barely watched any of it.
It was fine. The story was there, but, like, it just... you could tell they cut corners. They were forced to. It's like, oh, the money's just not here anymore.
Yeah, and then you compare it to, like... the more recent animated films, and it's like, oh, the money is there and the writing is there too.
The money is there, but it's clearly not as much money as there used to be, because in that last Justice Society Wonder Woman movie, there's that great bit where it's him and it's Steve Trevor, and they're doing a very close walk and talk where it's like, hey, let's walk and talk so we don't have to animate feet. And I'm like,
it's still like perfectly acceptable, maybe because the animation is a lot better.
It is, and more consistent, and Long Halloween looks really good too.
It does, yeah.
They had the trailer there for part 2, which is funny because I'm like, wait, you're already giving us the trailer for part 2 and part 1 isn't even out yet?
Yeah.
The hell are you doing? I know you were going to cut it into 2 parts anyway, but still. But yeah, so there's your animation news, everyone, and that looks fun. I'm excited to see where these are going to go.
Yeah, it looks great.
And animated content has been really good for my channel, too, so all the more reason.
There you go.
Oh, is the chat saying, too? Yeah, the Harley Quinn show. Duh, obviously, the other really big thing in DC animation.
Hopefully the writing on these shows is as good as that.
Yeah, absolutely, because Harley definitely set a high benchmark for comedy and character and, like, actual stories of substance.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone thought it was going to do any of those three, let alone all of those three, to where, like, that show fucking captivated people for 2 whole seasons.
Yeah.
And that show's coming back, too, so again, it's a good time to be a fan of DC animation.
Yeah, coming back very soon.
Absolutely. All right, so our next story here is a topic we don't normally cover, but a topic that I'm actually following just because I cannot believe it's a real thing. King Spawn is going to be launching this August. This is the beginning of the brand new shared Spawn universe, spearheaded, of course, by Todd McFarlane, who said, hey, you know what would be great? If I got a lot of people really interested in Spawn by paying some of the best artists and writers in comic books today to come and write Spawn for me.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
We did.
In great length as well, I remember.
We certainly, I was shocked, too, to talk about it in great length, because it's like, they got a bunch of creators we really like, and apparently, that's all you need to get us to start reading Spawn.
When does that issue come out, that Spawn Universe stuff start happening? Or has it started?
I think Spawn Universe is first, and then I think this is afterwards, so this summer sometime.
Okay.
Because, King Spawn... McFarlane said in an interview is like his take on King Conan, so it's going to be like a collection of many books that's going to be farther along in the future of whatever this new shared Spawn universe is going to be. And some of the art talent we got on here, Javier Fernandez, Brett Booth, Philip Tan, Stefan Segovia, McFarlane himself, naturally, because he's going to write and draw, because that's what he does. And Marcio Takara. So, again, just a killer's row of really talented people on this.
Yeah, it's some great talent. And again, I think when we talked about it last time, we mentioned that obviously there's been troubles in the past with McFarlane paying creators
and sharing
and
rights
like
and
that.
everything else.
Yeah, rights. And do they own whatever they create in this, or does Todd own it wholesale?
I mean, because like literally every time McFarlane has worked with anyone, they've all ended up suing him.
Yeah.
So all of this could end up being Exhibit A in a future lawsuit.
Is this just going to end? Is the issues going to end in and follow us in the class action lawsuit?
Yes. Honestly, you would think that McFarlane probably learned from everything in the past. I'm sure he got everyone to sign ironclad contracts, and that is like, look, you get this much for the characters you create, but I retain toy rights because toy rights is the sweetest plum of them all.
Surely everyone's wise to that ever since George Lucas did the same thing back in the fucking 70s.
Oh, God, yeah, you gotta get them toy rights, man. Merchandise is where it's all at, the merchandise. And, I mean, I'm interested to see what Donny Cates and everyone else creates when they get to play in the Spawn sandbox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, speaking of Donny Cates, did you see Venom 200 got pushed back again?
I did see that, actually. What is so big in Venom 200 that it cannot be contained?
Well, I don't know.
Venom's gonna whip it out finally. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's gonna hang
issues.
dong.
big
and we're
null
gonna
dong.
see it.
Big null dong. Look, we had to compete with Batman Damned. Look, after 200 issues of this, the people demand it. It's the only thing we have not done yet. I mean,
it's gonna be full penetration, and the thing is, they're gonna see it.
You're gonna see it.
He's gonna go fight crime, then penetration, fight crime.
Little penetration. I mean, look, judging by all the crazy fan art that came out after the first Venom movie, we joke, but maybe they're on to something. Also, thank you, Mr. No Two Body 616. Thank you for following now after that of all things.
At the correct moment, yes.
Look, what we're saying here is that if the internet has taught us anything, from Resident Evil to Venom to everything else in between, the internet's just filled with horny monster fuckers, and you got to just give the people what they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, we pitched, Incredible Hulk as an erotic thriller when Immortal Hulk is done. The sensual Hulk coming soon. Hulk smash in more ways than one. And moving on quickly from that topic to another, Avengers Tech-On. Have you seen this, Matt? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
I have, yes.
Yeah, so do you like your Tokusatsu? Do you like your Power Rangers? Do you like your Voltrons?
I'm pretty cool with them, yeah.
Don't you wish that your Avengers comic books could be more like that?
Sure.
Don't you wish they could be more mechy and more anime? Well, Marvel and Jim Zub agree, because Avengers Tech-On is going to be a new experimental series that tries to fuse all of these things.
Again, was it last week or the week before we were talking about how like over the last like year and a half or something, like comics have just been filled with like anime stuff and like stuff from mangas and everything. Like we were talking about like that Future State Gotham book.
We were, yeah.
And like
how Akira it was.
And yeah, and like all these creators doing all this like anime stuff, and it makes total sense because anime is super popular at the moment.
It is, and manga routinely outsells North American comic books now, and maybe we're at the point where enough young creators, people our age who grew up on the stuff, are in enough positions of power within these companies to be like, maybe we should try and reach out to that audience a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I'm sure their Exhibit A, when they talk about this and try and make their cases and elevator pitches, is My Hero Academia, where they're like, hey guys, the most popular superhero series going on right now is not Marvel or DC, motherfuckers. Look at this.
Yeah, it's anime, it's manga.
Yeah, they're eating our goddamn lunch right now. We gotta try and eat it back somehow. What if we just put more mechs and anime shit in here? And apparently Jim Zub got his way, and because Zub's a cool guy and friend to the show, I can probably get him on at some point to talk about it. So Jim, if you're listening, you're more than welcome to come on and talk about it. Yeah, I'll definitely give this one a look. Some of the character designs look pretty cool.
They look pretty cool. Again, it's totally anime inspired. You can tell by all the ridiculous designs.
It's so anime, we'll have to read left to right. Man, could you imagine if they did that?
Oh, someone would find a problem with it.
I mean, comic book fans lose their shit all the time whenever we're forced to move with panels. Again, hey, Wonder Girl from this week, which you, me, and Kurt all thought that this was some sort of digital error. It wasn't.
Yeah, that page was really, really weird, really strange.
It's funny, I saw you guys talking about it, and I didn't weigh in on the conversation. Then I actually read the book, and I'm like, oh, this is what they're mad about. Yep, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, it's very strange.
God, I remember when Snyder had the thing in his Batman where he had to, like, read it upside down and turn it.
Yeah.
To get the whole thing. Yeah, could you imagine North American comic book fans having to read left to right? Just stop, full stop. I mean, shit, I don't read manga that much, but when I do, my brain always has to be like, oh yeah, shit, yeah, I'm reading this wrong.
Yeah, it takes you a minute because you start reading it normally and you're like, wait, this doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, wait, yeah, no, I've got to read it from this side, yeah.
Yeah, oops. But yeah, so there's Avengers Tech On for you, everyone, and they're going to Tech On big time. Even the name itself kind of sounds like an anime mistranslation. Tech On Tank Police. We'll give it our best shot. Moving on from that, from Avengers news to Defenders news, we got a little bit more insight into Al Ewing's brand new Defenders team.
He did.
And it's looking pretty solid. We got stalwart members that we always know, like Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer, and also, we were correct in our theorizing before, Betty Ross Harpy is going to be joining the team, continuing her adventures from Immortal Hulk. Mm-hmm. We also got, what's his name? Masked Raider, Masked Detective.
Yeah, finally filling in those stories from Marvel Comics issue 1000 from 400 years ago.
Forever ago now. Man, I guess this finally answers the question where it's like, hey, who really cared that much about, Masked Raider? I guess it was Ewing. I guess he's the one who cared.
I think he's the one who wrote that story.
I guess he was, because it's like no one else did anything with this character. They made a big freaking stink about it, and now he's finally here in this book.
Yeah.
That's cool. I also like the idea that this is Al Ewing's like follow-up to Immortal Hulk, which everyone loved, and he got people who don't normally read Hulk to read a Hulk book, and maybe he's going to do this with Defenders too, because it feels like they always take cracks at Defenders, but it never sticks.
No, it never does.
It never sticks for all that long, and they've done everything. There was Bendis's Defenders that were street level. They did the Fearless Defenders, which was the all-women team. It feels like they've taken so many cracks at Defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this will be the one.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. What else do we got from there? Ooh, big new summer storyline for Batman. At first I thought it was an event, but no, it's not actually an event. It's just the next story.
Yeah.
And it's Fear State, interestingly enough.
Yeah, involving Scarecrow, which makes sense since we're building up to that story.
Yeah, he's been the villain, ever since Infinite Frontier Batman started. And with a name like Fear State, Yeah, this basically seems to be them also answering a lot of questions started in Future State, because a lot of the characters from that book are in this one, and even Peacekeeper 1 is going to be in it too.
Yeah, everything's starting to take shape. Last issue of Batman saw Peacekeeper 1 being made, and I think there's like a cover for this or an upcoming Batman book which has a like proto Peacekeeper 1 fighting Batman.
Now, is this going to answer the question, and that is like, yeah, Future State was supposed to happen, but history has changed now because of reasons, and we'll find out about that in this book?
Yeah. Well, as we said before, like Future State, like what happened in that is going to happen, but like things are going to change, like little things are going to change and everything. It's
possible future.
Future State was a possible future.
Right. And I guess this is the present, the real present that we're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also, too, hey, look, Miracle Molly and Ghostmaker and all these new characters we created are also going to be major focal points of this.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who could have guessed?
It's almost as if Tynion was working up to this, everyone. It's almost if. But, not an event, just the next big Batman story, Fear State.
Yeah.
So check that out this summer, everyone. Now, from there, another big piece of news. John Ridley, again, another guy who wrote Batman in Future State, just so happens to be assuming duties for Black Panther next when Ta-Nehisi Coates ends his run. We've already got our next creative team. And what a fucking great choice.
Yeah, he did wonders with that Batman stuff and Second Son and everything. And
Other history.
I can imagine him on Black Panther is going to be so good.
It's enough reason for me to pick it up. I wasn't reading the Coates run because it took a lot of time to get started, and he hadn't really written a comic before, and you could tell.
Yeah.
He got much better by the end, and I think his cap is really good, but I'm super stoked to see what Ridley brings to this, especially because, as we mentioned, the man's been on a total tear recently. Everything he's touched has been, like, excellent.
Yeah, it's been gold.
Yeah, like, if he can bring the other history of the DC Universe energy to this, that would be pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, where it's like, yeah, friggin' the Black Panther book should be one of the biggest books at Marvel right now. It was one of the biggest movies.
Yeah.
And also, too, we see Storm featured quite prominently on this promo art, where it's like, ooh, are we going to follow up on that story now? Because the X-Men are back, in the fold and everything?
Hopefully.
Because when they last saw each other in X of Swords, Storm made an enemy of Wakanda because she stole their sword.
Yeah, well, again, it could be a follow-up to that.
It could be. Heck,
because T'Challa wasn't technically involved in that.
No, he wasn't. He only showed up right at the end, but had to save face and everything. It'd be kind of cool, too, Wakanda as a nation and Krakoa as a nation. They're not really friends right now. They're not really seeing eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something to explore further in here.
Mm-hmm.
The ever-shifting socio-political nature of the Marvel Universe between Krakoa, the Vampire Nation, the Shi'ar Skrull Union.
Yeah. Again, that all sounds like stuff right in like John Ridley's wheelhouse, like political intrigue and all that sort of stuff.
Colonialism, all that good stuff. So So Black Panther by John Ridley, hop to the front of the list of like, ooh, I gotta read that.
Yeah.
Now, one more story this week, and Matt, you even talked about this before I put it on the list, and that is, hey, you know those color series that are really popular, Matt? Tell me about the color series.
Yeah, the color series are when you get like a character like Deadpool, and the subtitle is the character's primary colors that make up its costume. So we got this one, we have a Batman one, we got a Carnage one, we got a Superman one. There's a Red Sonja one that also got announced this week.
That's right.
There's a Wolverine one.
Yes.
What else is there?
I think there was a Carnage one too.
Yeah, Carnage. All of them.
What is it in the water in the comic book industry now where everyone had this same idea at the same time?
At the same time. And it's not as though they're all different books. They're all like literally the same. They're named all of that, and they're anthologies.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Now, that being said, this Deadpool one, Deadpool Black, White, and Blood, it's not even red, it's blood, caught my attention more than any of those other books because it's going to be written by Tom Taylor.
Yeah, he's one of the writers on it, yeah.
Which, this is like his first time writing a Deadpool book, and it's already been announced that his story is going to see the return of X-23 and Honey Badger, too, so he gets to write them.
Yeah, it's not his first time writing Deadpool. He wrote him in All New Wolverine, where they teamed up with Honey Badger.
Okay, so pre-existing relationship, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's cool. So more than anything, it's like, okay, well, this one jumps up a little bit more at me that maybe I should check this out. I haven't actually read a Deadpool book or picked up a Deadpool title since the end of, like, Duggan's, like, almost decade-long run, because it's just, like...
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like I'm done at this point. Like, who could do more?
Yeah, and it's like, from what, like, that's the thing, I haven't heard much about the runs since then, so they're obviously nothing to really write home about.
No, they haven't, like, captured people's minds. The problem is that Jerry Duggan run was so good, and that
it was really good,
and the ending was so strong that because it was so strong,
and it was so good because it treated Wade Wilson as a character, not a meme.
Very. Yes, absolutely. It was the most human the character had ever been. And again, I didn't read the ones that came after. Maybe they were good, maybe they weren't. I don't know. Maybe maybe Marvel thinks like, no, but he needs to be a meme spouting machine because it's much easier to sell merch. When he's a sad clown, that's difficult. When he becomes a sad clown, the joke's not funny anymore, and then we.
But surely the people of Hot Topic would like to buy that because they're sad clowns as well. They are
sad clowns in their own way. Man, I hope Hot Topic survives this. What is it? This pandemic era with stores and chains closing down. Where else am I going to get my wrestling shirts? I was wearing my Young Bucks shirt earlier today, actually, but I'm not wearing it on the show because I don't want to sweat on it. Does that happen to you, Matt, when you do a show? Do you sweat a lot? Does your temperature raise? Mine does.
No, because I have my air conditioning running.
Oh, lucky you. I don't know if it's like a blood pressure thing or what it is, but I always sweat profusely when I'm doing a show. I don't know why. Maybe my adrenaline is turned up. Maybe it's the magic of making pseudo-television. I don't know. But yeah, I actually want to check this one out. I didn't read any of the other ones, but I'm going to check this one out if only because I want to read more Tom Taylor.
Yeah.
So that's me, and that'll just about do it for the news this week, everyone. That was everything.
Yeah.
I guess we can hop into what we read this week, and this was a big old week, man. We've had 2 massive weeks in a row. I think I had like 11 books last week, and I don't even know how many books this week.
Yeah, this is a big week.
God, I hope we get some time off. I hope next week is chiller. Where would you like to begin, Matt?
Let's see what we had this week.
There was so much.
Yeah, we had the continuation of Heroes Reborn.
We did. This issue was all about Blur, the Flash stand-in.
Yeah, and yeah, it was literally that.
It was literally that.
It was literally an issue of the Flash.
Pretty much. Instead of fighting Gorilla Grodd, he fought Grizzly in Grizzly City.
Yeah, what's it? It was Ursa Major of the Winter Guard.
Yep.
In Grizzly City, and he's man-eating grizzlies. And who else? All the speedsters, the Ghost Runner.
That's pretty fun.
He raced Death across the multiverse in her Infinity Chopper.
Yep.
And all sorts of fun shit.
The Silver Witch, who calls herself the Speedster Supreme of this universe, which Blur doesn't like.
Yeah, it's copyright infringement.
Copyright infringement. I will admit that, that Hyperion issue from before really told a more straightforward kind of Superman story. Aaron, I think, has a little bit more fun with the Flash pastiche, and that is like he has like weapons-grade attention deficit disorder.
Yeah, he has the attention span of a hummingbird on meth.
At his words. So it's hard for him to do anything, but he actually got training in this universe at Carnage, because I'm assuming there's no Doctor Strange to train.
Yeah, he's like a combination of like Doctor Strange and like a little bit of Peter Parker, Spider-Man in there, and obviously like a Quicksilver sort of stand-in as well. And all of that, and yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I liked it. The one thing I really enjoyed, as someone who reads the Flash, and you've seen it on the TV show, where there's always that one thing that like grounds him, his grounding rod that allows him to run faster than the villain, and Jason Aaron plays with that so fucking well here. Where the character Stanley is like aware of that. Where it's like, yeah, I could use this whole, stop running and sort of focus on the things that live in our peripherals that we could use to like help. But if I keep using it, villains will get wise to it.
Yeah. So I got to look at the flower.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about the Flash. Yeah, he literally wins the fight the same way the Flash wins every fight in the comic and in the TV show. And then I found my center, and I ran faster than I've ever run before.
Yeah. The only difference here is that the character is aware of that. And that's like one of his skills.
Weapons grade self-awareness. They also seek to imply, too, much like Hyperion at the end of this story, he begins to wonder, like, hey, wait a minute, is this world the way it's supposed to be? I don't know, but I don't really care.
Yeah, he sees something when he's in the not Speed Force, that the universe is cracking or something, or is not right.
And then instead of racing Superman, he races Eternity, who Eternity seems to be basically unchanged.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same, which kind of makes sense.
Because Eternity is eternal. I wonder, is that going to come back at something, or is that just a fun little thing where it's like, oh, well, who's faster than Eternity? Who can outrun Eternity? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A fan in the comment section actually pointed out where they're like, wow, first Hyperion kills Galactus by, flying through his head like a bullet. Then, Blur clearly outraces Eternity. Man, Coulson really is writing his own OC fan fiction, isn't he?
Yeah. OC, do not steal. I did like, though, that, like Hyperion is, like, so far the only one of the Squadron Supreme we've seen so far who's kind of malice in his intent. Whereas, like Blur isn't. He's just got attention deficit disorder. He can't like focus on things all that much. He's not like killing his villains or anything.
No.
He makes a point to lock her up in Ravencroft,
which is even more Arkham than Arkham.
Yeah.
Right down to Bullseye, who I guess is also Mr. Zsasz in this universe too.
I guess.
What an easy fusion between those. And hey, that's what the backup story is all about, because we find out where Echo is at these days.
Yeah, Echo, who is unchanged in this universe. She's the next person who's unchanged, and she thinks she's the reason for all of this, because it's like a coincidence thing. She gets the Phoenix powers, and the day after, the universe is suddenly changed.
Yeah, how do I get God powers, and then the universe is rewritten. It's so funny that, like, the main stories are focus pieces on the Squadron, and the backup stories are the things that actually push the story forward.
I said that and it makes total sense, because this is a reverse of what would usually be a Marvel comic book.
Yeah, you're right.
We're focusing on the Heroes Reborn universe with these heroes. So it feeds into that whole thing of that they did in the Starjammers, where it was like an issue in a longer running series. Yeah. Whereas like we're focusing on the heroes of this universe, which is Blur and all that, not Captain America or any of that sort of thing. They're the backups.
That's actually really clever. I never thought of that. Yeah, Coulson and the Squadron have so fully taken control of the Marvel Universe. They have pushed the main Avengers to being backups.
Yeah.
Wow, actually, when you put it that way, that's friggin' devious. That's actually
it's
really kind of cool.
It's great.
See, this is why you got to listen to the podcast, everyone, for fun little exchanges like that. Again, too, this issue more than anything also hit me where it's like, I don't think this story was ever meant to be an event. I think this was just the next Jason Aaron story, and they're like, this is just too fun and cool a concept to not make an event out of it.
Yeah, he told them to not do that with his Age of Khonshu event, which could have easily been a summer event. His Phoenix issues could have easily been a summer event. He just relented on this, being like, right, fine, fuck it, we'll do it.
Sure, I'm happy with all my Justice League pastiches.
Yeah.
And again, this is like, as far as like difficulty to get into, this is like comics on hard mode, because you need to have a very good working knowledge of the Marvel universe, and also a very good working knowledge of the DC universe that they are pastichifying.
Yeah, I did notice that since this event started, there is a lot of people who don't seem to realize the Squadron are meant to be a sort of pastiche on, the Justice League and everything, and they think that, like, Marvel's just ripping off DC.
No, they've been around for a while. Also, too, I noticed a lot of people are incorrectly calling the Squadron a parody of the Justice League, and that's not fair. They are a pastiche. There is a difference. Parody means you're mocking and making fun. Aaron isn't mocking or making fun of the Justice League. In fact, he's taking them very seriously in his deconstruction of them. Mm-hmm. And kind of asking, like, what would they be like if they did live in the Marvel Universe, if there was a Flash, a Superman, etc., etc.
Yeah.
The release schedule of it is pretty good, too. We've gotten one every week.
Very consistent, which I really appreciate.
Which we normally don't get in big events, which again makes me think, was this really meant to be an event that's actually coming out on time? I've got to wait in between. But yeah, so Heroes Reborn is very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And just even calling it Heroes Reborn was a very interesting choice as well.
Yeah, but it makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Like, given the story and everything, because you've got these new heroes, but then you've also got the Avengers who are heroes being reborn throughout this story.
And also how the original Heroes Reborn was how Marvel got rid of the Avengers when they weren't selling, and now the Squadron Supreme has gotten rid of the Avengers, and the Avengers need to come back.
Yep.
It's a hell of a thing. Also, those aren't gunshots, everyone. Those are just fireworks outside, in case you can hear those.
Well, you can't ever be too careful, though. You know, it might be gunshots.
It might be gunshots there, everyone. The fuck do you say about the Squadron Supreme?
The war's begun while we're podcasting.
Wolverines! No, not that one. Starts now, everyone. The war starts now. But yeah, so Heroes Reborn, pretty interesting. What else did you have, Matt? What else did you want to talk about?
I had The Flash issue 770.
Oh, what's up with that? 2 Flash books in 1 week.
Yeah, this Flash issue was literally like an issue of All Star Squadron.
Oh, really?
Or a JSA issue. Yeah. Last issue, at the end of last issue, Wally got transported into the body of Jay Garrick.
Right, because he's body hopping all Quantum Leap style.
This issue, for more than half of it, we just follow Jay Garrick and Happy Terrell, the original Ray from the Quality Comics universe.
Wow.
As they go on a mission into the Philippines to find the Spear of Destiny. And they end up getting captured by Nazis and tortured for many, many weeks before Wally ends up taking over the body and freeing himself. But in doing so, that Speed Force energy he's been tracking gets put in Hitler.
Oh no, not Speed Force Hitler.
Yeah, who, along with the Speed Force, also now possesses the Spear of Destiny.
Oh, that's going to be a problem.
So yeah, the heroes end up chasing after him, and they end up stopping him by using the spear to siphon off the energy, because it's the only thing that can keep the energy from exploding and destroying the world. And yeah, it's just like a great kind of like buddy cop like issue with Jay Garrick and Happy. And Happy's like, he's kind of upset. He's got a team with like some loose cannon like Jay. You know, he's used to like, ironically, the Rays used to like working in the dark for the president and stuff.
Hilariously.
And he doesn't like believe in the Spear of Destiny or like God, whereas like Jay's like, oh yeah, I'm a God-fearing man. Have some faith. And it's like by the end of the issue, Happy sort of like gets a little bit of faith in his friends and everything.
Classic buddy cop.
It was a really cool issue. And then the ending implies that Wally is now hopped over into the Super Friends universe and has possessed the Super Friends Reverse Flash.
Oh, shit.
Because it's the exact same art style. It's Kevin Maguire doing the exact same art style of the Super Friends.
Oh, that's a hell of a deep cut.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, I might have to check out this arc when it's done and everything. They really sound like they're doing a lot with the Flash and trying to get as many Flashes as they can in there.
Yeah.
What else did I have this week? I had Immortal Hulk Time of Monsters, the special prequel issue for the Green Door and the first Hulk, apparently now, according to Al Ewing.
Yes, the big first Hulk.
Big first Hulk, which is interesting because right off the bat, it's like, well, wait, this is first Hulk, but it's different than the Avengers BC? Yes, the original Hulk didn't come around until Jordan in, like, BCE.
Yeah, well, the one from Avengers isn't technically the Hulk, it's the Star Brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that it's far enough to be like, well, why didn't the Avengers BC ever try and recruit this Hulk? This is why.
Okay.
Because it was a little while after the fact. The story is unsurprising for a series that has been, basically a horror book from the beginning. Quite dark and fucked up. So we meet a guy named Tamaz, who I think is like connected to like old Gilgamesh myths. Again, I don't have my English degree like I used to, but apparently that is like a character from like stories, and he gets sacrificed by his tribe's chief to hope that it'll bring back food and water to their dying community, and he sacrifices him to an old god called the Green-Eyed Goddess.
Ooh.
Which is a hell of a combination of words, because it's like, yes, because people who are, affected by gamma, they usually get green eyes, don't they? And the eyes are the window to the soul, and the green door is a portal by which souls can travel to and from the lands of the living.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Jacqueline McGee now has the power of gamma sight.
Okay.
So is she becoming a gamma god in and of her own right? Is she becoming a green-eyed goddess because she can also see the spirits of the dead as well with her sight?
Mm-hmm.
The chief's name is also a dad, too, which I thought is funny. I'm like, oh yeah, he has the word dad in his name because fathers have been fucking with Bruce Banner his whole life. Be it his own dad, be it General Ross. Dads in general just do not like the Hulk. And yeah, he dies, he goes to hell, and he meets the one below all in the place below all.
Okay.
And it's like, wow, I bet you're pretty pissed that, the leader of your community fucking betrayed you and everything. What if I give you the power to break worlds and smash? Would you like that? And he's like, yeah, that's pretty dope, I do it. Only he comes back and doesn't want to hurt anyone, and his friends don't recognize him, so they kill him again. And then they eat him, because they're all very hungry.
Oh, of course.
And the chief is like, yeah, see, look, I did it. My sacrificing that guy totally worked. We have food now. In fact, let's go and enslave our neighbors tomorrow and sacrifice them. And then the Hulk is reborn, because he always is, and he ends up literally tearing his way out of all of their bodies from the inside.
Oh, that's cool.
It's fucking gross. And Juan Ferreira does the art on this one, and he actually commented on the video, because I forgot to... I attribute it to the other guy, the co-writer, and not him. He's very nice, Juan Ferreira. He's commented on my stuff since Green Arrow.
Same.
He's a person who, like, I will accept a correction from and not feel horribly embarrassed about it, but I was a little embarrassed by it. So I'm giving him the credit he deserves now. It is very good, gross, and scary, much like Immortal Hulk has been since the jump.
Fantastic.
And it works on its own, too.
Yeah. Also, it's cool standalone.
Very.
Because I was like thinking, it's like, oh, I might read it, because I'm like looking at panels of it all over Twitter and everything. I'm like, oh, this looks so fucking cool.
It's perfectly standalone. Which it's funny. Some people brought up too. Al Ewing doesn't seem like the sort of guy who would invent an original Hulk and then not have something happen with him. Because the whole point of the Hulk is he's supposed to be immortal, right? So assumedly this guy is also immortal, right? Mm-hmm. So where is he now?
Yeah.
Begs a really interesting question, does it not?
It does.
Now, what else did you have, Matt? In fact, you want to take this? Because I can actually hear my phone ringing in the other room, and I should probably get that.
Fantastic. While you go away, I might turn over to the chat and ask if they have any questions.
Oh, smart. Good idea.
So if you got any questions, throw them in the chat log, and I'll get to them while Joel goes and answers his phone. I'll bring in the chat up on my phone. New Injustice animated film. Not too... Problem with this film is they're gonna do the game. They're gonna do the game, and the game's story isn't very good. The proper story for Injustice is in the comics, and it's expanded on in the comics, and the comics are much better than the game. So, and the problem is they're just going to use the video game where it's just characters just find a really loose reason to fight each other. They're going to fight each other, and one's going to win. That's all the movie's going to be, and I'm not really too hyped for that at all. Comics I'm picking up this week. I actually haven't looked up what comics are actually this week. I usually don't look them up until the day before they actually come out, like later on tonight. So I don't actually know what's coming out tonight. I'm pretty sure Action Comics is coming out because Philip Kennedy Johnson has been hyping that up on his Twitter, and with good reason, since that story's been really fucking good. And yeah, Action Comics is coming out, Batman Black and White, Batman Superman. If you haven't been reading Batman Superman, definitely pick up this arc. It's very, very cool. It features the original incarnations of Batman and Superman. Talking about original Hulk there for a minute there. Original Batman Superman. Heroes Reborn issue 4, yes. What's issue 4 about? Is it about Nighthawk? Or is it about... Oh, no, it's about Dr. Spectrum, that's right. So the Green Lantern tie-in, which would be very interesting. Does this show have a game portion? No, we don't really have a game portion. Me and Joel do talk about video games every now and then, but not all that much, mainly because we don't really have a lot of time to play them. I haven't really played the only video game I've played recently is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm just got onto the third Mass Effect game on that. So I'm playing through that and probably won't talk much about it until I'm actually finished it. But there's not really much to talk about. It's games we've already all played. What else we got? Assassin Talk. We'll do Assassin Talk maybe when they do a new Assassin's Creed. I haven't played the new DLC yet, the Wrath of Druids one, which I really should get around to doing at some point. I haven't read any of the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books, but I did see that they are actually pretty good. I have heard very good things about them. I haven't read them. I read a little bit of that, they did that tie-in. They did those tie-ins with Batman, and they were pretty good. I did not know Onslaught was returning to X-Men Comics. That's pretty cool. I have to keep an eye out for that. The Stargirl special is coming out this week. Oh, fantastic. It's about time that came out. That got teased, back in Infinite Frontier? I'm so glad that's coming out. Oh, the new Reptile book from Marvel is also coming out. That new young but old hero. He's already existed before now, even though they're touting him as a new creation. Marvel Studios aren't buying DC. Come on. They're not buying DC at all. I don't know why people believe that sort of stuff. There's no way that's happening at all. Because that's something called a monopoly, and that's something that is actually illegal for companies to do. Avengers Mech Strike. Is that like I think I've seen that one. That's a digital only book. This is a digital only book. I remember seeing a Mech Strike or something similar to that. I do know they had that. They had like a comic adaptation of that. That anime they did. That it was like Avengers were like pocket monsters or something. They were like Pokemon or something. It was something really silly, really fucking silly, and they did a comic of that. I know also Joel didn't put it in the news section, but we also got that picture of Impulse. I just want to say that picture of Impulse that was pretty funny. That was a pretty funny picture. I might actually put an image of Impulse up on the screen now, just so for people who maybe haven't seen it can see it. Let's see if I've actually got it. Where is it? Okay, I don't actually have a picture of that Impulse. I'll have to go find one later on. But yeah, that Impulse picture was hilarious. I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it look like the comic page, but it didn't work, and it just looked terrible.
Sorry for that.
It's good. You actually joined at the right time. I was just talking to them about we got that first reveal picture of Impulse from the Flash TV show.
Oh, where his legs were all fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, how terrible it looks. As I was saying, they were trying to make it look like that one comic panel.
Yes.
But it just doesn't work in real life.
It also only further, stresses what I think you said last week, and that is, man, that's a good costume, but it feels so weird seeing that costume on an adult.
It does, doesn't it? It looks so strange. And it's weird because there was actually someone posted like set photos, and the guy's a little bit taller than Grant Gustin.
Oh, really?
So it's got to look equally weird.
That's funny. That's weird. I don't know why they're so afraid of kid sidekicks. I think kid sidekicks is a really untapped market.
Yeah. Is it just because like kids like the way they shoot these shows where it's like mostly night times and
yeah. As they always say, never work with animals, never work with kids in Hollywood.
Yeah, but surely seriously, just do a kid. I mean, it works for stuff like like Stargirl and whatnot.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Stargirl is great in that regard because they have young heroes. Even then, they're more like late teens than they are actual children. Yeah, just once I would like to see an actual kid sidekick.
Yeah.
To think the best one is still probably Hit Girl, and she is, again, like a weird deconstruction of the trope, being like, no, children shouldn't be able to do this. But yeah, so that's my thing. What next book did we want to talk about, Matt?
Let's have a look. Oh, Justice League, issue 61.
Yes, the return to Naomi's universe and all the shenanigans that come with it.
Yes, yeah, so the Justice League return there, and they find out that not only are they separated, but somehow their powers are amplified, or they go haywire on this world, and it gives them sort of a handicap.
Yeah.
Since they've beaten Brutus 2 times before.
Yeah.
And now they're on his world, so he can easily best them.
I appreciate that, actually. Oh, a story where the big bad isn't the major threat. The major threat is actually the world fucking with their powers.
Yeah. I also like it, and I know people didn't like it. I like that Brutus just talks like a normal person, because he is from another Earth, and he is human. Yeah. It's just because he's a metahuman, he looks the way he is.
This was the issue that did it for me, because we meet McMurphy, who's kind of like his tech person who's been opening the portals. And it's like, oh, yeah, because they're just normal people, because this is just a planet that was like Earth. So, yeah, of course they talk that way. Bruce even says, I was on like a Justice League-style team in this world before everything went to shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that actually really checks out then.
Yeah, it's great.
What is it? We actually get Batman again being kind of funny and also kind of clever when Naomi is freaking the fuck out about being back in the place where her parents died.
Yeah.
Batman goes into full youth counselor mode, and it actually makes a lot of sense considering that he himself was a traumatized kid, has helped many other traumatized kids through their issues, where it's like, look, if you start freaking out, Naomi, DuckTales. Wait, what? See? You can't think of DuckTales and be freaking out, right? You're just humming that theme song right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're just confused about what the fuck's going on now. You're not worrying about all that stuff.
And I'm like, damn, Batman really is the best at what he does, doesn't he? I just love that he used like this weird bit of mind kung fu on her, and I'm like, yeah, that would work. I couldn't be freaking out and thinking about DuckTales at the same time. It's physically impossible. Good on you, Bendis, you're right. Also, Green Arrow gets a moment too where you think he's about to get shot with his own bow and arrow, and he's like, no, idiot, I put fingerprint scanners on that, so only I can use it.
I love Green Arrow through like this stuff. He's in the Flash book as well as like someone who's helping Wally and Barry and everything with what they're doing as well. And I just like him as this sort of support character before. Obviously, he's going to get something coming out of all of this.
He's getting a big 80-year anniversary soon, so that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I think Bendis really likes Green Arrow too, and Black Canary, because they are so in his wheelhouse and so his type of characters.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, shit, in the first couple issues, I swear Green Arrow was just given all the things that Bendis wanted to say.
Yeah, and he was part of that Batman universe book.
That's
that Bendis
right,
did as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, Justice League continues to be a lot of fun. It's a romp, is what it is. It's a romp of a book.
It is.
And that's not a bad thing. A big team book like this can be a little less serious sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the stakes are still
especially
high.
Coming off of like Snyder's run, which was all like end of universe, crises and everything.
The world can't end every day.
No.
Which I appreciate. What else was this week? Oh, speaking of DC books, Wonder Girl was also this week. The big follow-up to probably the most well-received of the Future State books, arguably.
Yes, the well-received, and one that I'm sure that everyone also forgot about.
Yeah, man, we were talking about this before we even started, where we think the wait in between and the fact that they're not making a TV show really seemed to kill people's interest in this book, where before everyone was so in love with this book.
Yeah, I'm still in love with it. The book's great.
Yeah, I mean, everything that worked about the Future State book works in this one, too. Jolie Jones draws a hell of a book and writes a hell of a book, too. If you love Brazilian mythology, you're going to love this, too, because they're drawing on so many fun references, and we get to actually take a couple steps back and see what's happening in the rest of Wonder Woman's world.
Yeah.
see Queen Nubia there, ruling in Themyscira. We see the gods and them hanging out and everything, including Hera. Maybe you could answer this. Was Hera part of the Quintessence, or am I thinking of someone else?
You're thinking of someone else.
It's been
a while since I saw the Quintessence actually there.
Yeah, because someone brought that up in the comics, and I couldn't bring myself to actually look up that Infinite Frontier thing. So unless either someone messed up big, or that's someone masquerading as Hera.
Oh, that could be cool.
Could be something. Could be like a shape-changing god.
Yeah,
So
she is part of it, yeah.
Okay.
Panther, Hera, Highfather, Phantom Stranger.
Yeah, okay, because they were all supposed to be killed. Yeah, they were all supposed to be killed by Darkseid, so what's she doing there?
Ooh, what if it's Darkseid?
Whoa, shit, man, they launched Darkseid in the fucking Wonder Girl book. Oh my god. That would be fucking nuts. This book had a weird thing, too, and we talked about it with the art where you had to, like, turn it on its side. What was up with that?
Well, yeah, I'm just convinced because the page, it's like a splash page. So, like, did it just go... Because it was in the digital version. I don't know whether it was in the physical.
Apparently it is. I heard someone later say it was.
What the fuck?
In a book that is beautiful and filled with great art, what an odd-ass choice. And also, thank you, Khalifa Redrick.
That had to have been like an error, and they just didn't correct it. It's like, it works. It's still like, you see everything on the page. It's fine.
It's fine. Just run with it there. But we actually get to see what the Brazilian Amazons are like in this new Infinite Frontier world. We had seen two of their agents kind of like stalking, Yara before the series started in that Infinite Frontier 0, and we actually get to see the rest of them, and they're pretty fucking hard edge. They've traded in bows and arrows for like machetes and AK-47s.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not the Amazonians. That's not the her people. That's the Banamidal. Amazonians. They're like a militaristic offshoot that's like led by Artemis and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay, so clearly you know more than me about it, but still, that's the first I'm seeing of them, and they're very cool.
Yeah, they're pretty fucking hardcore.
They're hardcore. I love that it's like their whole thing is like, oh yes, on Paradise Island, we still live like it's ancient Greek times. These Artemis Amazons are like, oh no, we changed with the times, and we're basically a paramilitary army.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool. I dig the shit out of that.
Yeah, their Queen Faruka as well senses something much like Hera and Queen Nubia.
Yeah, and their thing is like, we gotta kill her. We gotta kill Yara for some reason, because apparently she's very important.
Well, they refer to her as the weapon.
Yes, yeah, whatever that means. Well, again, weapon can mean two things. Are they talking about her as the weapon, or are they talking about that thing that she clearly gets at the end of the comic?
Yeah, the bola. The
bola, which we saw her wielding in Future State.
Yeah, and again, I think it might be her because like the start of the book is like Ares going to town on her people and like wanting to kill her
for some reason. Yeah,
and her mother just stepping in and taking sacrificing herself for her.
Her mother, who I was quite confused, actually looks a lot like Diana.
Yeah, a little bit. It has like the like
cheekbones and tiara. Yeah. I literally thought it was at first. I was very much mistaken. Like, I wonder what's like. Oh no, there's got the beauty mark on the face there, so it couldn't be her.
Maybe that's like why she likes Wonder Woman, because it reminds her of her mother, but she doesn't like realize that connection. Just knows that she likes Wonder Woman
in a weird,
maternal way or something.
In a weird cosmic sense there. Also, too, we're still not quite sure about her, parentage yet. Obviously, that was her mother. It was implied in Future State that Zeus might be her father, too, or some Brazilian thunder god equivalent.
Yep.
So that's kind of interesting there. Furthermore, as someone pointed out to me, Ayara in Brazilian mythology is also a name they give to a mermaid-like creature, and what grabs her at the end of this issue? A mermaid-like creature.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, a lot of shit is connecting here. They are using every bit of the mythology.
That's awesome.
Very, very much so. It's such a genius idea, too, because it's like, yeah, the Wonder Woman concept, let's build a superhero out of an actual real-world mythology is so great, but it's like, after so many years, how many more stories can you tell about Greek mythology? Just give it to another mythology, and they are, and it's pretty great.
It's pretty cool. I honestly would like to see, like Wonder Woman from like all different mythologies. Like you got one from like Greek, you got one from Brazilian mythologies, you do one from like like Chinese or like Japanese mythology, stuff
Native
like that.
American Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Create the League of Wonder Women, the Wonder Woman Corps.
Yeah.
We joke, but they might just. If it shows it. And I mean, Yara's just a fun character. Again, she's fiery, she takes no shit,
Yeah.
she throws herself in danger to try and save people because she's a good person.
Yeah, she's relatable.
Very. She tells a travel blogger to go fuck himself, which I very much related to. I often want to tell travel vloggers to eat my ass.
She talks the ear off an old lady.
Also fun. Also relatable. Trying to find her culture, because she's new to this too. She's going to Brazil for the first time.
Yeah. Well, the first time, though, technically she was born there. But she can't really
doesn't
remember any of it.
Yeah, her deaf aunt didn't want her going back for some reason, assuming that they know something.
Yeah.
So yeah, some good mystery here. Yeah, here's hoping this book is a success, and here's hoping they do eventually make that show one day.
Absolutely.
I do love
maybe that's what it was. They were just like, they put it on hold. It's like, yeah, we kind of need like something to base the show on.
For real. It certainly feels like they leapt before they looked on that one, where they're like, oh man, this was so cool.
Yeah.
Let's build something around this. We can't, though, because nothing's been written yet.
Yeah, the woman who created her is still creating her.
Yeah, you can't do an adaptation when you have nothing to adapt. Oh. That's a shame. Well, how long do we have to wait?
Well, one trade.
Yeah, at least, Naomi says at least one trade is what you gotta do. Which, that's gonna be fun to see that show. It's like, okay, so you have one trade's worth of story. Go for it. But don't pull it out none. But yeah, so that was Wonder Girl. Continues to be fun. We both mentioned, too, that the viewerships were down on our channel, so hopefully that's not like an indication of people not being as interested.
I hope not, because, yeah, the book's really good.
Yeah, don't let this become one of those, like, lost gems of, like, man, they really should have rolled the dice on this one, shouldn't they have? So I had 2 more, is what I had. Actually, technically 3.
I had 2 more as well.
Okay, which ones did you have, Matt?
Well, the first one I had was Fantastic Four Life Story, issue 1.
I finished that right before I started.
So did I.
Man, this one was a real different beast than Spider-Man. You could tell Mark Russell was like, man, I better not copy anything Zdarsky did.
It's very different in that it felt more like the opening of like a movie.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. This is a spec script, no doubt about it. This is a spec script for a Fantastic Four movie. A pretty interesting spec script, by the way, that hops through the decades. We start in 1961, because 61 was the release of the very first Fantastic Four comic, so naturally you have to start there. Reed getting recruited by Kennedy to try and make the 4th and final craft in their space race against the Russians.
Yeah, who've just gotten into space. And he wants them to get to the moon before the Russians do.
Yeah, we got to win that space race, everyone, because again, it's the atomic age, it's the silver age of comics. This is all very much the time when this was made, and what, spawned it. It also makes a lot of sense too, because the first family is all about, like science and understanding and knowledge and education and pushing further and farther and everything. And Reed, at every turn in this book, seems to like get shut down by people who aren't nearly as smart as him and people who are jealous of his big brain.
Yeah. For first coming in Dr. Jones, this guy who's kind of bitter that he got passed over for Reed and his design, so they shut him down because the antimatter fuel they were using has been tested and could cause all sorts of trouble.
I was positively shocked to find out that Dr. Ricardo Jones is actually a character from Fantastic Four comics. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
He was in one 2-part story from 1966, and literally what he does in this book is what he did in that story.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought he was just going to be like, it's going to be revealed this is actually Victor Von Doom or something.
I thought that too, or like, what is it, the Puppet Master or something, and I'm like, wow, what a fucking weird... Of all the 60s Fantastic Four villains they could have gone with, Russell went with the deepest deep cut possible, and I'm like, well, I guess you have to, because again... You're going to do Galactus, and you're going to do Doctor Doom, and probably a Nihilist later, so take your time.
Yeah.
Is what he does, and some pretty different versions of the Fantastic Four in this universe. Sue is treated much more like an equal to Reed in this series than she was in the original books.
Yeah, she's the one who kind of designed the craft that he was building.
Yeah, he's like, I wish I could do it with you. honey and everything, but you're busy in your own scientific endeavors. And she's the one too, when Jones fucks up his plot, she's like, well, why don't you just do it? If you believe in it so much, I believe in you, why don't you just do it?
Yeah. See, I thought when Reed was saying like, I wish I could do it with you, I took that as like sort of like a play on like, the 60s. Oh, she's a woman, she's less than, sort of. Yeah. Sort of thing. And it very well could be. It could be both.
Well, as we see later in the book, where it's like, oh yeah, and in between being superheroes and celebrities, the Invisible Woman also fought for like civil rights and women's suffrage and everything. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. They don't do as much of that in this book as they did in Spider-Man, where like Spider-Man was there for like every important moment in American history. This book, shockingly, it really focuses more on the Fantastic Four out of their superhero guises.
Yeah, well, again, it's like when you think of Fantastic Four, you think, oh, it's the first family. It's this lovable family that's together fighting crime. Whereas like here, it's like they're not a family like at all.
No.
Like Ben hates Reed for what Reed did to him, and will only sort of like pretend to be a group just because of what it does to like America and the world. Like it brings them hope and everything, but like behind closed doors they fucking hate each other. Yeah,
it's like it's all a fake, it's all a front. And I'm like, oh, is that Russell doing a bit of commentary on the 60s and the clean, shiny veneer and everything ultimately being fake and hollow and everything. By the end of the story, they seemingly come closer together. But yeah, it's an interesting take to be like, yeah, what if Reed and Ben weren't best friends right out of the gate? What if they had to become that?
Yeah, and what if like Johnny Storm was like literally a kid?
Literally a kid. Yeah, he's not just a kid sidekick type. He absolutely 100% is, to where Reed's like, no, we're not taking a fucking kid with us.
Yeah. And yeah, the only reason Johnny comes is because he blackmails Reed and says like, well, if I don't come, I'll just call NASA up and tell them.
I'm going to call NASA. Yeah, this is a pretty dope move. Pretty fun. And honestly, Johnny kind of drops out of the story at a point. It's really more about Reed and Ben.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense as well, since like a big plot point of the story is about Reed. Like when they got their powers through the cosmic rays, he caught a glimpse of Galactus, and he doesn't know what it is, but he knows something is coming for Earth, and they are in no shape to deal with something as this big, because not only are they like not technologically advanced, they're fighting with each other, and there's Vietnam and civil rights, and again the team is fighting with each other as well.
The team is an allegory for America. I love the bit where like Kennedy loved Reed and was all like into him because farther, faster, science, that great speech that they did in that DC movie where Kennedy talks about America's scientific advancements. He goes to talk to Reagan. He's like, well, we're busy having a Vietnam right now, so maybe leave me alone.
You go deal with your space demon. If he comes back, just give me a call.
I'll ride out on my horse and shoot him with my 6-gun. And I'm like, yeah, here's the difference between Democrats and Republicans when it comes to the sciences, right? Which again, he's not being a straight up Dick Reagan. He's just being how Reagan would normally be and be like, well, we're too busy bombing Asian countries, so come back when you build me a better bomb, Reed. But yeah, this is an interesting take on Galactus, too, that I don't think we've ever seen before, where he's more like a Lovecraftian horror thing that, like, drives Reed crazy. Yeah, it's a very interesting take.
It's great, yeah. Every time we see him, it's like this giant open maw of a face eating galaxies, and yeah, it's great.
It also ties into the idea, too, where Reed's like, look, maybe the reason none of us on Earth have ever met any aliens before is because every alien planet capable of interstellar travel got eaten by this thing. Oh, was that LBJ, not Reagan? It looked like Reagan. Didn't it look like Reagan?
Yeah, they're old white man.
Yeah, they're interchangeable there. Kennedy, you can never get wrong.
No, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be Reagan. Yeah, that wouldn't be Reagan. That's fine. I don't have to know American history. I'm Canadian. Which is what Americans say to me every time I get one wrong. I mean, I'm sure we'll see Reagan later because, again, we saw Kennedy and we saw LBJ, so I'm sure we'll end up seeing, all the presidents and how they deal with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
How's Clinton going to deal with the Fantastic Four? Well, Reed, can you make me a better cigar? Well, can you? Can you get these stains out, Fantastic Four? Can you do
make
that
me
for the nation?
Unstainable pants.
Can you do that for the nation, Reed? You'd really be doing me a solid, buddy. Hey, Sue, what you doing later? oh, Bill. That's funny. I mean, it's funny, this issue, because it's really quite understated at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just like a portion of their lives.
Yeah, just this is a chapter. I guess, too, it kind of has to be a slow burn, because it's like, look, we're not going to do Doctor Doom or Annihilus or any of, like, the big stuff in issue 1. That stuff comes later.
Yeah, we get like a couple of big things like Reed and Sue's wedding, and that gives confirmation that like the Avengers are around in this universe as well, because Captain America and Scarlet Witch and Nick Fury and Tony Stark are all there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, like we're going to be moving at a slow pace, and again like 70s, I imagine like Vietnam, stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe we'll start setting up Doom, Well, we got a quick little one there of the Mole Man, because, the Mole Man was there in the beginning.
Yeah, no one gives a shit about the Mole Man, so he's easily defeatable.
He is easily defeatable. I wonder if we're going to see any other heroes in this story, because no other aliens makes me wonder.
I wonder.
Because, like, obviously, Reed and the Fantastic Four were characters in Spider-Man Life Story, but this is not the same universe and not the same anything.
Yeah, Peter Parker is in this issue, though. He's taking photos at their wedding.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't think it's the same one.
Wouldn't that be interesting? A Marvel universe where the Fantastic Four are the only heroes.
Yeah, well, again, like Captain America and all that are there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They are, too. God, you can tell I just read this one, can't you? I've committed none of this to memory.
But yeah, there's no, like, so far, there's no like space aliens or heroes from space or anything.
Yeah, that we can notice so far. But that's Fantastic Four Life Story. Very interesting issue. Definitely not what I expected it to be.
No, and I like that. I expected it to be more like the Spider-Man one.
Same.
Yeah.
It feels like there was a concerted effort to try and make sure that it wasn't just a repeat of that, which I guess is true because that book covered so much American history already, so you can't just do it again.
Yeah, you can't just like do the same events, but just get rid of Peter and put the Fantastic Four in there.
Yeah, really, where it's like, well, what did they feel about Vietnam? What did they feel about the Civil War? And da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Because, they're heroes, so I imagine they wouldn't love it, Mm-hmm. So, that was that one. What are some other ones I had? I'll go through these ones really quick. Daredevil 30 was this week.
Nice.
So Elektra's, harder wheeling and dealing in Hell's Kitchen really comes back and bites her in the ass this issue. She took in a kid after the end of King in Black, who she's kind of been training to deal with the death of her, like, parents and everything at the hands of symbiotes.
Yep.
And so she's like, yeah, you're cool. You can come out with me to go put the scare in Hell's Kitchen's newest mob boss, which is, of course, Butchie, Kingpin's illegitimate kid.
Yeah.
And it's so cute. The kid, Alice, her costume of choice is literally just Daredevil's costume from the beginning of the Frank Miller run, where it's just black sweats. Only she's tiny, and Elektra's like, yeah, this is fine. I'll just intimidate the shit out of these gangsters, and nothing bad will happen. Oh, fuck, they actually paid for a hand assassin, holy shit. And I can't kill him the way that I normally would, because I'm trying to be, like a woman of peace and everything, the way Matt wanted. Oh, God, this guy might actually kill me. So the kid takes a gun off one of the henchmen and ends up shooting it. And it's like, oh, good, you saved me. And this was just like a monster filled with dust and smoke and everything. Oh, no, wait, you were a child who was actually going to murder someone. Oh, God, I've been teaching you all the wrong lessons. Oh, fuck, I'm as bad as Stick. Holy shit. So that's pretty cool.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It is, and it's like, yes, because, we don't see much Daredevil with a sidekick. They tried to do it with Blind Spot, but we never got it all the way.
Yeah.
And as the chat's saying, Butchie, who is now in this book, and also the Rose, who has returned in Spider-Man this week. It'll be interesting if those two characters interact at all.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity if they don't.
Yeah, they have to. They have to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, hey, speaking of that, I had Amazing Spider-Man this week, which, again, is batting more cleanup from, like, the several fucking stories that Spencer finished off in that last giant-sized issue.
Yeah, I'm jumping on in this issue. I haven't read this issue yet, but I'm jumping on this issue.
Do you want me to tell you the big thing that happens at the end that has everyone talking?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we finally come back to the Carly Cooper story. Carly Cooper, who, was working at the morgue after the big, graveyard fight with Kindred.
The Sin Eater stuff, yep.
Yeah, at the end of that story, she tried calling Mary Jane, and she's like, oh, I found another body. There was another body there that doesn't belong. And then we went off and did the boomerang stuff, and we never went back to that. Overdrive, of all people, who kind of started a romantic relationship with her, kidnaps Mary Jane from like a press junket. It's like, you have to help our mutual friend, she's missing, and everything there, and I don't know where she is. And we eventually find out that she is stuck in some sort of dark, dank, mysterious prison, which is crazy, but her cellmate turns out to be Harry Osborn.
Okay.
But wait, I thought Harry Osborn was Kindred. Oh, and Kindred escapes this issue too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, uh-oh. So there's two Harrys, which I think adds further credence to the theory a lot of people had that the Harry in the cell is probably the post-One More Day Harry, and the other one, making a bunch of references to One More Day, is the old Harry.
Okay.
And a lot of people are like, well, how the hell did that happen? My theory is, and maybe you'll remember, Matt, early on in the Spider-Man run, Spencer did a short story that seemingly went nowhere where Spider-Man and Peter got split for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's one of those types of scenarios.
Yeah, bringing it all back.
Yeah, to something you thought probably wasn't, important, but apparently it actually was.
Classic Nick Spencer.
Yeah, this also closes a lot of, plot holes, too, where it's like, no, there was definitely two. Yes, they were capable of being in two places at once.
Yeah, okay.
So there you go. There was definitely probably two. And yeah, assumingly they might get merged into one, as the chat says. And thank you, Office Senika. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Or Office Nike, I guess it is. I'm fucking dyslexic tonight. Just for tonight. Or maybe Chameleon is involved, as the chat is saying, too, because the next arc is a Chameleon arc.
Yeah, that's a definite possibility.
Which, yeah, if we're going back to the Chameleon, that means we got to deal with Teresa the sister, that guy who stole the future-telling device from Peter and was also a villain. They left that one on the back burner.
Yeah, again, I was so sure that was going to come up somewhere in this story.
So, yeah, we definitely need to go back to that for a minute, so that's going to be important. And, Betty Brant rolled back into Spider-Man's life right around the same time that he needs a new apartment because one of his roommates betrayed him and the other one's dating a supervillain. And she's pregnant.
Oh, fuck.
And we don't know who the father is, and as someone in the chat mentioned, too, when we finished off that clone business... the guy she was dating, her old love interest, Ned Leeds, was like, oh, you gotta save Betty, you gotta protect Betty, and that looked like it wasn't going anywhere, and maybe now it's going somewhere.
Nice.
Also, Flash Thompson is back to life, too, and he was also dating her, so I wonder.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, Clairvoyant was his name, thank you.
Yes.
Also, too, Jonah says he's looking for a brand new superhero right now because Spider-Man dissolved his deal with Threats and Menaces. Because, friggin' Jonah always has the best frickin' taste when it comes to, getting new hero types, right?
Yeah, of course.
Scorpion, Spider Slayer, any number of other things that he was involved in. But yeah, so this, again, it wasn't even really so much a story as it was just, hey, let's finish off some of these storylines before we start a new one.
Finishing up, shoring stuff off, yeah.
A lot of that. But yeah, if you wanted to get back in, Matt, now's probably a good time to get back in because it's going to be all Chameleon and shit from here by the looks of it.
Excellent.
So now is definitely the time.
Excellent. Well, we were talking about Nick Spencer. Nick Spencer also wrote a Superman story this week.
Oh, shit, no kidding.
Yeah, he had a story in Superman Red and Blue issue 3.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's probably one of my favorite stories I've ever read of Superman. That's good. All the stories in this issue were fucking fantastic. But his story was really great. His story is about Superman inviting a bunch of children from an orphanage, where kids go when they don't have a family, sort of home, to the Fortress of Solitude. Since as Nick posits through the story, is like Superman doesn't really have a lot of memories of his home, his parents, because the story starts off on Krypton, where Lara and Jor-El hoped they would have had more time with their son, because now he's not going to have any memories of them. He's only going to have brief flashes of who they were and everything, and they give him like a red stuffed toy just in hopes that he'll remember them through it. But yeah, Superman brings these kids there in hopes that they'll have something to have a memory of and remember, and he doesn't want them to turn like him, which is someone who's alone. He's the last son of Krypton. And as they're all having fun and everything, and Toyman ends up tracking these children, because he gave them, like, he donated toys anonymously to them.
Damn,
and he tracked the toys to the Arctic Circle where the fortress is, because he wants to break into Superman's forbidden vault. And the kids are all like, "Oh, what's in the vault? I heard it's Doomsday," and he feeds Doomsday the bones of the people he puts in the Phantom Zone. And I heard it's gold kryptonite, and we're going to steal the gold kryptonite and be, rich and never have to work again, and all that sort of stuff.
Those are some fun deep cuts, actually.
Yeah. So, and Toyman attacks, and like one of the children's little toys tries to like kill them, so Superman has to destroy it. And at the end, the kid wouldn't stop crying because the toy got destroyed. So Superman decides, I've got something that can help. He opens the vault, and the only thing in the vault is that red stuffed toy that his parents gave him. And he ends up passing it on to this child. And it's this idea that a memory that's kind of bad for him, the destruction of his home world and the last remnants of his family and everything. He's going to pass that on to someone else in hopes that they can make a good memory out of it.
That's really nice. Again, that speaks to something I've said forever, and that is, Superman, superhero comics in general, the lifeblood of them is the joy and wonder of children. And I think that is so often forgotten by modern writers. And that is like, look, if the Batman, Superman, Spider-Man stories you're writing aren't appealing to children in any way, you're kind of fucking up.
Yeah.
And again, that's a lot of the comics I really love right now, I would not recommend to a kid, which is a shame, and they should probably try and fix that in some regard, shouldn't they?
Yeah,
like, absolutely. Again, not everyone has to be for children, but, like, most kids should be able to pick up Superman, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And again, I'd say, like, all the stories in these books so far are ones that kids could pick up. Like, there's stuff there for, like, more adult people and everything in these stories. But, yeah, I think most of them are, like, you could definitely give them to a kid and they'd appreciate them.
That's why the anthology is a good format, and probably also why that color series is doing so well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, again, you can put it in front of more people, and, it's cool from an artistic standpoint, not just a writing standpoint, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. So is that everything this week, Matt? Is that all there is to talk about?
That's everything.
All right, and hey, we're almost at our 1:30 time anyway, so again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming out and watching this show live. Again, if you're one of the 40, at one point, I think 50-plus people who did that, guess what? You get the special honor of getting to see the video version of this show, because this is going to be an off week for the channel, and if you want to see the video version again, you got to be a $5 patron member, is what you got to be. We will be re-releasing the audio version of this show at some point next week, probably before the next episode is how I'm probably going to drop it.
Yeah.
So check that out again if you're not following us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Podcast, or there's probably other places I'm on that I'm forgetting. We're on a lot of podcast apps, everyone. I know someone said, hey, are you going to get on Spotify? Maybe. Man, it took me 100-plus episodes just to get on iTunes, man. This is very difficult. It's not so difficult, though. I actually put Capes and Quests on a thing called Anchor for the first episode, and like literally they put it everywhere for you.
Yeah.
The downside is you don't get to put tags or anything in it, and I think they force some ads at some point to it, but still they put it everywhere. It's almost fucking worth it just for that.
Yeah.
They don't do iTunes, though. You got to do iTunes on your own, and iTunes is a fucking thing, because if you're on a regular computer, you got to go in, you got to remember your fucking password you picked 100 years ago. For the stores, it's goddamn. I need an assistant, is what I need. I need to go to a college and get an underpaid assistant and an intern. It's what I need. I need to start taking advantage of that, like all the evil CEOs of the world do. Is what I'm saying, everyone. And on that note, I think we can officially start bringing the show to a close, can't you?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and showing up. Much appreciated. We will be back again next week. And if you're seeing this show on YouTube, that means it's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
hopefully that'll do something for the algorithm on the channel. We can only hope so.
Hopefully.
All right, everyone. Bye-bye. Happy Sunday, everyone.
See you, everyone.